We're now going to apply a gradient to a layer. You can apply a color gradient to all or part of a layer. In this example, you'll apply a gradient to the word Hawaii to make it more colorful. First, you'll select the letters and then you'll apply the gradient. First, select the Hawaii layer to make that active. You're going to right-click or control-click the thumbnail on the Hawaii layer. So right here, don't click over here, don't click the word, right-click right here. And we're going to click Select Pixels. You can see that it's got little dashes around the letters now. We know they're selected. So make sure you click the thumbnail rather than the layer name, or you'll have a different menu and you won't find pixels. All non-transparent pixels on the Hawaii layer, the white lettering, are selected. Now that you've selected the area to fill, you're going to apply a gradient. Though the layer contains the word Hawaii, it's no longer an editable type layer. The text was rasterized, which means it was converted to pixels. In the Tools panel, we're going to go over here and select Gradient, your Gradient tool. Click the foreground color swatch, and we want to select an orange, a bright orange color. And click OK. The background color should still be unchanged. In the options bar, make sure linear gradient is selected. We're going to go to Basics, go to this first one, which is foreground to background. It's the first one in the Basics group. And then click anywhere outside the gradient picker to close it. If you wanted to list the gradient options by name rather than sample, you can click the menu button in the gradient picker and choose either small list or large list, or hover the pointer over a thumbnail until a tooltip appears showing the gradient name. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Alright, so with the selection still active, we're going to drag the gradient tool from the bottom to the top of the letters. If you want to make sure you drag straight up, you can hold down the Shift key and then drag. When the pointer reaches the top of the letters, release the mouse button. So I'm going to click right down here at the bottom, hold down Shift, and go up to here to where it reaches the top of the letters, and let go. And I see over here that I'm going to undo this. My background color is not completely white. I'm going to change that. Now let's see what happens. Click here, hold down Shift. There, look better. Make sure your foreground was orange, background was white. I didn't look at that. So the gradient extends across the type, starting with orange at the bottom and gradually blending to white at the top. We are now going to work on applying a layer style. You can enhance a layer by adding a shadow, stroke, satin sheen, or other special effect from a collection of automated and editable layer styles. These styles are easy to apply and they link directly to the layer you specify. Like layers, layer styles can be hidden by clicking their eye icons in the Layers panel. Layer styles are non-destructive, so you can edit or remove them at any time. Earlier you used the layer style to add a stroke to the beach photo. Now you're going to add drop shadows to the text to make it stand out. Select the Island Paradise layer and then choose Layer, Layer Style, and then Drop Shadow. This box opens up. Make sure you can see the text down here. You could also open the Layer Style dialog box by clicking Add a Layer Style button, which is right down here. You'll see it. We'll do that next. How's that sound? In the Layer Style dialog box, make sure the Preview option is selected. Right here, make sure that's checked so we can see what's happening. And then if necessary, move this dialog box so you can see that. In the structure area, select Use Global Light. That should be checked. Mine already is checked, so make sure yours is checked. The blend mode should be multiply. Opacity, let's make that 75%. I'm typing, you can drag as well. Angle, 78 degrees. Distance is going to be 5px. Spread is 30%. And size is 10. When use global light is selected, a global or shared lighting angle is available in many layer effects that use shading. If you set a lighting angle in one of these effects, every other effect with use global light select inherits the same angle setting. You can also change global light settings by choosing layer, layer style, and global light. Angle determines the lighting angle at which the effect is applied to the layer. Distance determines the offset distance for a shadow or satin effect. Spread determines how gradually the shadow fades towards the edges. Size determines how far the shadow extends. Because the preview option is selected, as you make changes, Photoshop updates the drop shadow preview in the document window. So if you look down here as we were doing things, you can see that there's a shadow that's been added to this text. So now click OK in the Layer Style dialog box. In the Layers panel, the Layer Style appears nested in the Island Paradise layer. An Effects heading is listed first, and under that, the layer styles applied to the layer appear. An eye icon appears next to the effect category and next to each effect. To turn off an effect, you would click its eye icon. So if you click there, you do that and you see that that effect went away. Click the visibility column again to restore the effect. To hide all layer styles for that layer, click the eye icon next to effects. To collapse the list of effects, click the arrow to the right of the layer name. Excuse me. If you expect to use a layer style frequently in multiple documents, you can add it to your Creative Cloud libraries. You would first create or open a library, which we haven't done. You would click right there. You would click Add Content button, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that now. Just be aware that you can create that. So make sure the icons for both items appear nested in this layer, which they are. If you're on a Windows computer, you're going to press Alt. If you're on a Mac computer, you're going to press Option, and in the Layers panel, we're going to drag those effects listing or the FX symbol for the Island Paradise onto the Hawaii layer. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to click Option, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag it down to the Hawaii layer. And you can see that the Hawaii layer now has those same effects added. It copied the settings that we applied to that other layer. Now we're going to add a green stroke around the word Hawaii. Select Hawaii layer in the Layers panel. Click Add a Layer Style button. So that's this little FX right here. We're going to click that, and then we're going to choose Stroke from the pop-up window. It's another way of doing what we just did. I'll drag it up so I can see the word Hawaii. In the structure layer of the Layer Style box, we're going to specify the following settings. Size is going to be 4. Position, we want this to be on the outside. Blend mode is going to be normal. Opacity, 100%. The color is going to be green. We're going to select a shade that goes well with the one we used in the text previously. So I'm going to click here. Now you can do this, or if you want it to be exact, you can click on that letter. I'm doing that because I want mine to match. You don't have to. All right, and then click OK to apply that stroke. Sorry, clicked the wrong thing. Now, let me ask you a question. Which statement about layer styles is incorrect? A layer style cannot be edited once applied. A layer style can be hidden by clicking the Layers panel eye icon. A copy of a layer style can be applied to a different layer, or bevel emboss are examples of layer styles. The correct answer would be a layer style cannot be edited once applied to a layer. Now we're going to add a drop shadow and a satin sheen to the flower. Select the flower layer. Not flower to flower. Then we're going to choose layer, layer style, and drop shadow. Then we're going to change the following settings in the structure area. Opacity, 60%. Distance is going to be 13. Spread is 9. Make sure the global light is selected and that the blend mode is multiply. Do not click OK. With the layer style dialog box still open, we're going to click the word satin over here, and it displays its options. Make sure invert is selected. I see what I did wrong. Before, I said to click invert. I clicked right here. Well, maybe it was there. I don't know. But you're supposed to click the word satin, and there is an invert there. If it was there before, I could just be blind. I don't know. Color, we're going to choose a fuchsia color, which is, y'all know what fuchsia is? Something looks kind of like that. Click OK. Opacity, we're going to make that 20%. Distance is 22. The satin layer effect applies interior shading to create a satiny finish. The contour controls the shape of the effect. Invert flips the contour curve. Click OK to apply both layer styles. You can see over here in the flower layer, and if you look at the flower right here as you click these effects, you can see what it was like before, and there's what it looks like with what we just did. So how does the gradients panel apply a gradient to an image layer by default? It does that as a non-destructive gradient fill layer. Might see that again. Great time to click File and then Save.